Greetings fellow cybersecurity enthusiasts and hackers. Welcome to Hacks. Today we are doing more web application hacking on Hack This Site. Hack This Site is a website that allows you to test out and learn new hacking skills, and we have been going through the realistic missions, and today we are on realistic number 12. Heartland School District. Schools are supposed to prepare students for the outside world. How can they do this if students are kept from everything by overly protective administrators? Clear the blocked site list and help fight censorship in public schools. Absolutely. I mean, my school, when I was growing up, was like this. They restricted absolutely everything. I mean, you could get to Google and Wikipedia, but the majority of the site was blocked. There's some sort of theory somewhere that you are only 6 clicks away from non-savoury content in schools, let's say. So, you know, through Wikipedia you can access all... Anyway, right. So, we have a message from our client out there, and it says, "Hey, it's out there from hackthisSite.org. I've run into a problem and I can't seem to solve it. As you may know, I go to Heartland High School. Our school put everything on the internet a few years ago. This was great at first, but then this really uptight guy, Jason Bardas, got a job as a computer teacher. He set up this overly restrictive web proxy and made it so that the school's computers could only connect to the district site. He hates people who know more than him, so he's blocked all these hacker sites, open source websites, and he's even blocked Google. He is really paranoid about security, but I don't think he really knows what he's doing. The district site is here and it runs on some crappy Windows 95 machine, if that helps. Can you clear the list of blocked pages by getting admin access? Please help me because information should be for everyone." Absolutely couldn't agree more. Information should be free, but I understand why restrictions are needed in environments like school. You know, we had kids doing nefarious stuff on school computers, so I can understand why the restrictions are in place, but let's help this guy out. So, if we navigate to the website, we get a fairly basic page. You can see here you've got a teacher's pages. Mr. Bardas, he's the administrator that's implemented all these restrictions. You got student work, you got Tom Bigman, you got this girl here and her boyfriend here. Very cringe teen material. You know, I'm surprised it doesn't automatically play some sort of Nickelback tune or something to that effect. Not that Nickelback is bad, I actually like them. Test scores, so it's showing all the test scores. A few more teachers. That's cool. I didn't notice this before. A PE teacher, Miss Agent Smith. Love it. Love the Matrix. Mr. Engelbert. Mathematics teacher. Cool. So what we can see straight away is at the top it looks like the index HTML page is calling a script called internet.pl, which is a Perl script, but we also have this input box, which I assume is the web proxy they're referring to. So if you try to go to places like google.com, this page has been blocked. HackthisSite.org, this page has been blocked. So that's the restriction that they're on about. So they must have some sort of group policy in place preventing users from using their own URL, and now they can only use this one, which is severely restricted. But as you know, as you're about to learn, browsers have more than just a HTTP protocol. They have other protocols built in, like FTP. So for instance, if you wanted to FTP to a site, you could do FTP google.ftp.com. That's not a real thing, but yeah. But you also have a file protocol as well, which uses server meshes block. SMB is a Windows protocol like NFS is for Linux, which allows you to share files on the network. However, you can also use it to access files on your local system. I'm sure you've seen it before. When you open a file in your browser, it will reference file first of all, followed by the file that you're looking for. So if we type in file and try to go to C, that would be the C drive on the system, because we know it's a Windows 95 computer because the client told us so. So we could try and access this. I'm not too sure about the syntax. It's going to be a bit of trial and error. And there you can see we have the contents of the C drive, because we didn't use the HTTP protocol, we used file, which is SMB, and it's looking directly at the C drive. Now, one would hope normally that the service that's running the website wouldn't have permissions to access the C drive. That's a different story entirely, but it just sort of shows how badly implemented this web server would be. But you can also see we have a web file, Windows file, program files. You expect to see program files and Windows files on there. Usually if it's a web server you would expect to see Interpub or something to that effect, but we should now be able to access C /web and see what's in here. And we can see there we got a bunch of Perl scripts, a CGI script, and HTML documents. So I wonder if we can access the other ones as well. I didn't go this far last time. C. Whoops. Not used to using this keyboard. Get there. C /. So that was in web. So if we go into Perl now and see what's in there, I'm just going to make a quick copy of that so I don't have to keep typing that out. So that's been blocked. We can't access the Perl scripts. I believe there was a HTML location. So we can see the HTML location. So let's just go back and see what else there was. And we have CGI bin. So let's try and access CGI bin. So CGI bin, if you don't know, I'm not sure if it's used that much anymore, but it used to be where you put all your scripts. So everything like in the Perl directory, or say if you were running Python scripts, you used to stick them all in CGI bin. But now I don't think developers really do that anymore. They just place them in their own directories. So we could see from the internet.perl script that it is referenced inside the CGI bin one, but what we want to look at is web HTML. And what we can see is there's a bunch of files: banner.gif, index.html, heartland admin panel.html, main HTML, and school. So what we can try to do is access this admin panel.html. And it would appear to be in the root. So you've got the index.html, which is loading the internet.pr from CGI bin. So hopefully what we can do is just paste that there. And we get a login form. You know, we can try our usual tricks: admin, default creds, invalid username and password. We could try admin or one equals 1. See if that works. Invalid username and password. So it doesn't look like it's vulnerable to SQL injection. It may not even be using SQL at all. But if we inspect the page source, bring that up a bit. Let's try and increase the size on that a little bit. Expand the body. We can see that this form is actually using a GET request to CGI bin heartland admin panel.pl, which is then allowing you to specify your username and password. So what's likely happening is when you submit your username and password, it's checking the values to something that is likely hard coded in the heartland admin panel.pl script, which is the Perl script. Unfortunately, we can't read that script. So we need to look for a way to try and access it so that we can read it. So if we go back to the main site and we explore around a little bit more, what we will see is if we go on this chap Joey Simmons one, he appears to be a Windows fan, quite technical. It looks basic like the other ones, but he has a Sign My Guestbook functionality, which, you know, we can post content to. File not found. That's an interesting response. So it seems like it's trying to write to a file, but that file doesn't exist. But if we go back and we inspect this, what we can see is this is another Perl script, and it's a Perl script called guest.pl, and it also has this hidden form function. So the action of the form is to write, so it appears like it's trying to write to a file in order to write a message to the guest book. If this script has the functionality to write, perhaps it has the functionality to read. So what we might be able to do is use the path CGI bin guest.pl, use the action read instead of write, and point it to our file heartlandadminpanel.py. That may allow us to find the credentials that it's checking against when we submit credentials to the admin panel. So if we go back to our URL and we specify guest.pl, now we want to specify a parameter, so we're going to say action equals read, and then we want to and file equals heartlandadminpanel.py. So what that should be doing is it's calling the guest Perl script, and it's saying I want you to read this file heartlandadminpanel.py. What if I add L on the end? Heartland. No, I may have mistyped this, but let's give it a go. File not found, of course not. I do have it copied, so I'm just gonna sneakily ninja paste that in. Brilliant. Now what you'll see is you've got a bit of functionality here, but if we go in and view the page source again, or just inspect it, so we can see both bits there, you can see that we have some credentials hard coded. You've got the name of the teacher, so this is the Perl script here, as you can see. So it's managed to call the Perl script, it's managed to read it, and you can see the username is Jarbe Bardas, which is the network administrator, and the password Heartland Network Administrator. So if we copy that and make a note of it, whoops, what we can then do is we can go back and visit the admin panel, and with the new credentials, hopefully, let's get rid of that. We should be able to log in. And as you can see, we are directed straight away to the block list that the client was referring to. You can see it's got some words in there that we would expect to see. Porn, it's even blocked Apple. What happens if you were looking for a healthy, nutritious diet? MSN. Do you remember MSN Messenger? Those were the days. Mozilla. Yeah, so he's blocking all the good stuff by the sounds of things, but he's also blocking numbers. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Anyway, this guy deserves to be pwned, so all you have to do to complete the mission is click clear all, and it should redirect you to a notification to say congratulations, you have completed basic realistic mission 12. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. Lessons to be learned, really, is to sanitize your scripts, obviously. That read functionality in the Perl script on the guest script didn't need to be there, so if it's not there, comment it out. I assume that's how it works. This is just me guessing at this point. I'm not that fluent in Perl. do a bit of Python and mostly Bash, but yeah, I assume you can remove that functionality, that read functionality from the script. Yeah, and just making sure that permissions are set in a way that you can't access files that you shouldn't be able to. For instance, when we access the C drive right away, web servers shouldn't really be able to access the root of the C drive. You know, that could, if you had an input box with OS command injection, that's just a pathway for bad things to happen. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. Can't wait to do mission 13. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you found it informative, maybe subscribe. That's it for me today. Kind regards. Bye.